it's not applicable to you. Translations. Any foreign language document must be accompanied by a full English translation that the translator has certified as complete and correct, and by the translator's certification that he or she is competent to translate the foreign language into English. That's true. And you know, the translator does not have to be a actually certified translator, meaning certified by school or have a degree or by a court of law or anything like that. It just, when they certify, they're saying, I swear and certify that I am fluent in English and Spanish, and I've read this document and it is an accurate translation. This translation is an accurate translation of the document called the birth certificate from Michoacan, for instance. So that's what you can say. And anyone who is really fluent, bilingual that way, can fill out one of those certifications. Except the husband or the wife can't do it, because the husband's going to say whatever he can to get the wife, and the wife's going to say whatever they can to get the husband their thing. So those two people, and you can't do your own either because it's not reliable. Copy. If these instructions state that a copy of a document may be filed with this petition, submit a copy. If you choose to send the original, USCIS may keep that original for our records. If USCIS requires the original, it will be requested. Basic, bottom line, send copies. Don't send originals, send copies. And then when you go into your interview for your green card, you bring all your originals, and they can look at the originals and make sure that they are, authentic documents. Because they lose all this stuff, and then you lose your originals. Don't send your original birth certificate, passport, any of that stuff. You'll send original photos. Your passport photos will be original, and the checks that you write will be original, but that's about it on the originals. What documents do you need to show that you are a U.S. citizen? That's right, because I'm saying I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm bringing in this person. How am I going to prove that I'm a U.S. citizen? This is really good. If you were born in the United States, a copy of your birth certificate issued by a civil registrar, vital statistics office, or other civil authority. Okay, I got that. Copy of your naturalization certificate or certificate of citizenship issued by USCIS or the former INS. Okay, so a citizenship certificate. Again, on the citizenship certificate, it usually says, do not copy this thing under penalty of law. Copy it. This is the Immigration Service. You can copy it for these guys. Okay, so make a Xerox copy, send in a copy to the Immigration Service. They will accept the copy. A copy of Form FS-240, Report of Birth Abroad of a Citizen of the United States, issued by a U.S. Embassy or Consulate. So when you have your babies overseas and you go to register them at the consulate, then they'll have that little certification that, yeah, even though my baby was born in Mexico, since I'm the father and I'm a U.S. citizen, I take it to the embassy and I get that little certificate saying, yes, you've been registered as a U.S. citizen. So it's all good. A copy of your unexpired U.S. passport. Simple. An original statement from a U.S. consular officer verifying that you are a U.S. citizen with a valid passport. Okay, so there you go. You can use one of those too. That's an interesting way to prove your citizenship. If you do not have any of the above documents and you were born in the United States, see instructions under page 3. What if a document is not available? Okay, well, shall we just go there? Yeah, let's look at this. What if a document is not available? In such situation, submit a statement from the appropriate civil authority certifying that the document or documents are not available. You must also submit secondary evidence, including... Okay, so let's look at this. I can't get my birth certificate. Why? Maybe I was born in New Orleans and the whole thing got flooded out and they don't have birth certificates anymore. Or some of the states, have natural disasters and stuff like that. So some foreign countries also in the wars lose all the documents. So they're going to say, we are the place you would normally come to for a birth certificate, and we don't have it because it was destroyed, it was lost, it was, the war, whatever. That's the first thing you have to have. And then you need something else. You must give something else, all right? You must submit secondary evidence, including a church record, A copy of a document bearing the seal of the church showing the baptism, dedication, or comparable rite occurred within 2 months after birth, and showing the date and place of the child's birth, date of the religious ceremony, and the names of the child's parents. So not just any old church record is going to work. It has to have those components on it. School record. A letter from the authority, preferably the first school attended, the earliest time you've gone, showing the date of admission to the school, the child's date of birth or age at that time, place of birth, and names of parents. Okay, so school records will work. Census record, state or federal census record showing the names, place of birth, date of birth, or the age of the person listed. Okay, so that can be it. And then here's the other one, affidavits. And I've used these a time or two, let me tell you. Written statements sworn to or affirmed by two persons who were living at the time and who have personal knowledge of the event you are trying to prove. For example, the date and place of birth, marriage, or death. The person making the affidavit does not have to be a U.S. citizen. That's also good to know. Each affidavit should contain the following information regarding the person making the affidavit: his or her full name, address, date and place of birth, and his or her relationship to you, if any. Full information concerning the event, and complete details explaining how the person acquired knowledge of the event. So, if the event, in this case, we're just talking about a birth certificate, then they're going to know all about the birth, and they're going to give a lot of information about the birth. And on these affidavits, do not be skimpy with information. Talk a lot. Give a lot of information. If you have a question, give more information. Go on and on and on, all right? The other thing is that for an affidavit, I like to say at the bottom of the affidavit, I swear under penalty of perjury and under the laws of the United States that the above statement is true and correct. I date it. I say where I signed it, in Nashville, Tennessee, and then I have a sign. I sign it in front of a notary, and I show my driver's license or my ID to the notary, and the notary stamps that paper and says, I saw this person really was the person who signed it. So that makes a really strong affidavit, because look, if you don't have any of your documents, they're gonna, they are not gonna want to approve this thing. So you've got to come up with some good information, some good evidence. So it says at least 2. If I didn't have a birth certificate and I was looking at that, I would say 4 or 5 would be ideal on this. Okay, so what if a document is not available? I mean, I think these instructions are great. Look how much information they give us on how to do these cases right. And I mean, a lot of people don't do it this way. So if you're able to really put together a nice package of information that's detailed and has these little details to it, you're going to totally stand out from the crowd. They're going to love your application. Your application is going to show respect to them. It's going to show you read the instructions. They're going to say, wow, this person's really committed to getting a green card. I mean, there's always going to be a person on the other side of this application reading the application, and you can impress them with your knowledge and the homework they do, and they're gonna if there's a questionable issue, they're gonna give you a good call on it. That's been my experience. What documents do you need to